While I was brushing up on my skills in making virtual worlds in Unreal Engine, I ran into this free, awesome robotics course that teaches you a lot of the basics, where you can do things like make sumo bots that fight each other and push each other out of the ring. You can create a self-driving car where you're line following. It's more like lane assist, and even collision avoidance where you stop at a certain distance from a surface. And the cool one is where you can actually create a remote control soccer bot where you can run around the field and knock the ball into the goal and create a game out of it. Now, I learned a ton, even though I've had some robotics experience. This was really helpful in getting me to understand how blueprints work in Unreal Engine, and I could even go into antenna, like this antenna component here, for example, and dig into how that was made and start to see how does that relate to real life and is this useful? I thought it was pretty cool. Now, if you stick around long enough, we'll get into how you can take things to the next level. I'll even give you a teaser into where I'm heading with my virtual robotics journey. Now make sure all the links are in the description and you can use chapters to jump to different sections that you're interested in. Let's do a quick course overview so that you can get an idea how cool this is for teachers and for students. Now, this is a 5-hour course that is for ages 13 and up. Now, don't let that scare you away. This is great for any age. You can download the source files here, and you can treat them just like any other Unreal project, where you can add them to your library and then you'll be able to see them in your Unreal Engine UI, or you can go directly through the Epic Games launcher and look this up. Now, looking at the lessons, you've got robot vehicles where you just get the basics of how to move the thing. You can start diving into sumo bots, and then the self-driving cars, which, like I said, is more like lane assist. And after that, you dive into collision avoidance. The very last one is my favorite, which is remote control soccer bots, where you can drive these things around the field and hit a ball. You may have noticed that each course comes with a lesson plan for the teacher and a student guide for the student to follow. So the lesson plan for the teacher actually goes over all the details of how you might approach this course, how to get everything set up so that you're making sure students are ready to go when they come to class. You've got your computer set up with Unreal Engine, unless that's part of your class. Then you head into the student guide, and that actually goes through the step-by-step of how to interact with the robots and follow the process of iterating on the engineering side of it and trying out different settings, how to get your blueprints dialed in, and then they set you free to try different things out, like what speed should I use on each wheel and at a specific turn rate? What's the structure of my bot? How does it behave differently? And this is really a great course. It walks through all the details for you. And even though this was for 5.4, it worked great in 5.5. And they even start to combine these courses to where you get this lane assist. Well, that's what I call it, line following robot. You combine that with your collision avoidance sensor, and then you can actually avoid objects that are in your way. So you can stop, wait till they're gone, and then move on. Now, I'm going to make sure I put the links in the description to an entire series of videos where they really do a deep dive. They go into all the nuances of the variations of the robots, talk about friction, showing you what happens when you don't have the right structure or bot. It's kind of fun. It's just a figure in case that's useful to you. I don't think I'd be doing this video any justice without digging into why virtual robotics. I have spent a lot of money on robots, and I was about to spend more money on yet another robot. And what do? They sit around. They collect dust. You might break them out every once in a while, but for the most part, they sit around. Now, if you're just trying to see if robotics is interesting to you and you have the chops for it, because it takes patience and determination and an interest in it to really want to fight through all the challenges you're going to run into, this is a great way to do it without breaking the bank. With a reasonable laptop, you can download Unreal Engine and get this course and get a real feel for what it's like to dig into robotics and understand how these things work. Now, once you're ready to take it to the next level, we can head into ROS 2, which is an industry standard, and stay virtual. I was ready to start learning ROS, and that's where I was about to buy this puppy pie, and man, that was going to be some cash, but I had just ran into another option thanks to Articulated Robotics, where he taught me I could use simulations to work with ROS. And in fact, I've got a project where I spun up Docker containers. You can run a whole simulation using this ROS to control it, and Gazebo to simulate it. Now, obviously, this is going to be way more advanced than the beginner course that we're talking about, but what you learn here applies to real-world robotics, and ROS 2 is a great way to get into the industry. Now, I was actually digging around for some Unreal 5 solutions that work with ROS, and I ran into Roboage here, who's doing a really cool thing with Unreal Engine and Gazebo, where Gazebo is actually the physics engine, and he's even bringing imagery from Unreal Engine into ROS. It's super cool, but man, is it intense. Speaking of intense, I'm going to lead you to Articulated Robotics for the next step of your journey as you go into GPUs and robots the easy way. And he helps you get everything wired into Omniverse and Cosmos, which were two super hot topics during GTC this year. I've dabbled in Omniverse, and it's definitely resource intensive. I have a GeForce RTX with 8 gigabytes of video RAM, and I just wish I had more power. But if you're interested in industrial robotics, you're definitely going to want to work your way towards Omniverse. In case you're wondering where I'm heading with my robotics goals, I have 2 ESP32 powered RoboMaster Teletalent drones that I plan to integrate with artificial intelligence for autonomous navigation within a swarm. So we'll see where that goes. But in case it's not obvious, the area that I'm really focused on is virtual robotics. And that's why I started this course in Unreal Engine. Ironically, that tied into another project I was doing where I was able to use music to send DMX signals into Unreal Engine 5 to control the robots. That's when I started having a blast doing this project. It's funny how robotics took me down a rabbit hole that led me into character animation. The robots that you see, the humanoid robots, are actually characters. And I'm using DMX to control everything you see moving other than the bot that's pushing the soccer ball. That's me using remote control. Everything else is being driven by music. In fact, why don't I give you a quick demo? We're going to use this song from Waveform Free on the EDM example that they give you. And we're going to play this song through TouchDesigner, which will generate DMX and make some robots dance. Check it out. All right, so here we are in that basic robotics tutorial, and we've got DMX all set up, and when I hit play, nothing's happening, nobody's moving. We'll flip over to TouchDesigner and start the music. And that's when things start moving. Isn't that fun? I tell you, I'm such a geek. I just love doing silly things with technology that make me laugh, and for some reason, I could just sit here and watch this for an hour. But hey, whatever floats our boat, right? This is gonna take me somewhere. This is taking me to the next level. Like I said, I'm actually heading into character animation, and now I'm starting to learn how to put animations together to make them dance, and eventually I'm going to probably tie some music into that. We'll see where it goes. I don't know, it's just fun stuff. It's definitely not something I can do during my day job, that's for sure, so it's great for my hobbies. Well, this seems like a great place to wrap this video up. If you're interested in learning about any of these resources that I shared, I'm going to put tons of links in the description for you so you can access any of that. But I've also got a blog where I walked through the whole process of using the basic curriculum that we saw at the beginning of this. And I kind of walk through my step-by-steps. So if you're interested in seeing any of that, go check that out on my website at tech-multiverse.com, or the simplified URL with the numeronym of t13e.com. It's hard to say, but it's easy to type. So go check it out. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see where I'm going with all this, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.